Okay, so we're on nerves. What's getting on your nerves? Why is it
Yeah,
getting on your nerves?
yeah.
How is it getting on your nerves? So we're all going to be talking about that
Can
today.
say that. That's a very, very big question. What's on
Yeah,
my
I do.
mind?
What's getting on your nerves? Well, absolutely everything.
No. I'm okay. I
Yeah,
don't have the rage that a lot of people do.
yeah,
Oh, my husband's entirely sure that I was born with that.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think anything's changed in the whole
Yeah,
menopause change thing. But
yeah.
yes, I do know that a lot of people have got it. So,
yeah. I haven't actually hit him with a frying pan yet, but there's time.
Well
There's still
done.
time.
Well done, Leslie. That's really good. Yeah, I definitely the whole it's like the nervous system's just in fight flight constantly. I think that's how I would describe it. And then it's like the tiniest thing just makes you go because you're already kind of, it's almost like
what, you're on the simmer already,
you're
sort of thing.
vibrating
Yeah.
at this kind of thing. And then I remember once coming downstairs and they'd left like the kitchen cupboards open and it sent me into a frenzy, like, and that's when I thought, oh wow, I really have to do something about this because this isn't me. Normally I would just float round, click, shut the cupboard,
But
play
is
the
that the
boxer
straw
with.
that breaks the camel's back,
It's
Sarah?
that,
That
it's
that would
that, and
annoy me now, day after day after day after day.
yeah,
Interestingly,
yeah,
let's get a little bit technical for a minute.
Technical. Okay.
Basically, the pituitary gland, which is like the master gland, it's the master,
Yeah.
the whole thing, it does the whole
The
thing,
conductor.
is starting to change as the ovaries are not producing estrogen so much, and estrogen is the key to this. Because estrogen is like the salve that goes over all the nerve endings and things like that and stops
Um,
it from
it's
becoming
true.
jangly. And
This is
when we
where,
start to, yeah,
yeah. So
when we
this is
start to
where,
lose
you know,
that, we
that's
start to get kind
everything,
of,
isn't it?
and that's why we get acusis. So sensory acusis. So this is where we're highly, highly, highly acutely sensitive to sound. And it's like when somebody clatters knife and fork on a plate and you jump or something just grates. This has got to do with a
Have
lack
you
of
seen have
estrogen.
you seen all the women that talk about suddenly they can't stand even hearing the other halves eat or anyone around them
Yes,
eating?
yes.
It's like a thing that seems to go like way up there where they go, I can't even, or breathing. But I noticed that I was saying to my husband about breathing. I was even saying to him, will you stop breathing? Because the breathing, it sounded so loud. It's an awful
Oh,
thing
sorry,
to
snorting.
say.
Oh my God.
An awful
Not
thing to
breathing.
say. But I'd say to him, why are you, breathing? Just breathe. Even in the car driving, I think I can hear him breathing.
Have you
I
been
mean,
together too long,
talking.
love?
It was just breathing, it was just staying alive. And that's me. So
That doesn't make me better.
I totally understand that, yeah, it's that high, like anything, but yeah,
And it
intense.
has a
What was the
knock-on
posh
effect.
name for it? Sensory acusis, was it?
Yeah,
There
I,
we go.
I think
Oh,
I
there,
think
there,
that's
there.
it. Something like that. It's like
Well,
acute. Yeah, sensory
acute
acusis
sensory
or so.
acusis. We'll
Yeah,
go
yeah.
with that. But
We'll
the
go
pituitary
with that
gland
one.
is
But
obviously being affected by it, yeah.
it's got a thing. However, the thing is that also it has a cascade effect because when estrogen goes, it's not in a vacuum. So like the GABA goes, which is a really nice thing for keeping your mood gentle and keeping
That
things,
gives you relaxation,
So it's,
doesn't
it's almost like we're getting dehydrated from all the really great hormones that keep us going smoothly along and flowing along quite nicely and thinking to ourselves, yeah, this is okay. I'll let that one go. Whereas after that, it's a case of, what do you mean? What do you want? What's going on?
it? Why are
You
you
know?
breathing?
Why are you breathing?
I'm
my,
so
my
sorry to
husband
say
actually
that,
said to
you.
me, I'll just stop breathing then, shall I? And I was like, oh, that way, good.
Well, I'm actually quite chill, aren't I? My problem is sleep. Okay, my problem with the
Oh,
nerves is sleep. And it probably doesn't help, but I've got myself a new watch.
no, it
Oh
doesn't.
no,
Take the
the
watch
ticking,
off.
the ticking.
Oh
Oh
my
my good grief.
Oh, honestly, all my
It
friends have
doesn't
got
tick, we're all
these
right.
watches. They've got these watches that tell them if they've had a good sleep. That would just send me absolutely nuts. For someone, me thinking, oh, I mean, I remember waking up, say, but didn't have the best sleep. But then it actually saying that you'd had like 54% sleep. I'd be like, oh my God, I'm so tired. That is just no good for me. But some people love them. Are you loving it, Ness?
Get word in edgeways. Do I love it? In a way, yes. In a way, no. Purely because I've always had really, really, really vivid dreams.
Oh,
And my partner will get like 96%, okay? I got 46 last night. But then, like I said, I'm a bit ill and a bit run down and everything else. But it was really weird. I could see this orange stress level. And then as soon as I wake up, my stress dropped. So I get more stressed at night
Yeah,
than
well,
I am during the day.
you're
insomnia
you're
is like
wired but
anxiety.
wired but tired, and
Yeah.
that's got to do with this absolute high alert state because you've got all these things going on, like the ACTH, the adrenocorticotropic hormone goes as well, the GABAergic system
Done.
goes as well, the overactive sympathetic nervous system actually starts going bananas at
Well,
one
that's
point, and
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 it's
then it's
like
just
the
a case of everything's raw. And when
yeah.
you're
So
asleep,
I get more stressed at night when I should be asleep, resting and relaxing, but I
yeah,
rest and relax during the day.
Well, we call insomnia, don't we? It's like night anxiety.
But I'm
yeah.
not I'm not awake. I slept as far as I was aware. Actually, I was awake for 5 minutes during the night, which is really, really low for somebody of my age, it seems.
Mm,
But yeah, during the time I was really stressed. But yes, there is the insomnia side of things that's happened
Yeah.
and everything else. But
I
yeah.
can go for a few I can go for a few nights with really good sleep. And then suddenly I'll be like
Oh, what, just
3 o'clock in the
completely awake.
morning and you're like and I'm why am I why is there this noise in my head? What's going on with all the like the tinnitus and maybe the pressure changes that you're feeling? Your eardrums are kind of going a little bit like this.
it
And
just
Oh, what, hearing your eardrums, is that what you mean?
yeah, yeah.
a lot of ladies suffer with restless legs at this point as well.
Mm.
Mm.
I've heard a lot of ladies talk about that.
Yeah,
And
jumpy legs, I haven't had that though.
no, I've not had the jumping legs, but I did have the just where I can remember going to bed. This is why I had to stop doing weddings because I would go to bed like 4 or 5 years ago and just not sleep a wink and have to get up at like 4:35 a.m. And I'd gone to bed at say 8:30, 9 o'clock, had a bath, done my pillow spray, done all the
Oh
things.
yeah, do all the things that they
Do all the
suggest.
things. I
Yeah.
didn't just expect to go to
Magnesium
sleep.
spray.
I
Yeah.
didn't just expect to go to sleep. I did all the things and I just would be awake the whole time. And then I'd have to get up and drive and go to a wedding, which is a kind of high stress job for hair and makeup because obviously the bride, the most important thing is she looks right. It's all down to timings. There's a lot of nerves in that room. And to then go in that situation, and I would come out of there just absolutely exhausted. But it wasn't even that it was just the night before I was working early. It was every night. And I was just like, this is wild because I used to sleep lovely. I used to have lovely sleeps. Anyway, I did find what worked. And that's the thing. I mean, apart from a HRT, it was trial and error with supplements like L-theanine, which is really good for
Yeah.
calming, magnesium, which I just think is a must. If I ever run out of magnesium, I know about it. And a small amount of melatonin just to help. And then once I'd got my magic concoction, that was it. I'd done hypnosis, I'd done NLP, so I'd done all those things as well to help start to calm I think it's the fear of the changes as well and the replaying the day over. You know, when you've probably lost your mind and got really upset and then you have the guilt of shouting at people or, like saying to Chris, stop breathing. Do you know what I mean? It's like then then you
I don't.
then you're replaying the day, aren't you? Because you're thinking, oh
Yeah.
God, I wish I wouldn't have said
Yeah,
that.
it's
That
on
was
a loop.
And
It goes
it's
on a
on
loop.
a loop, and that's
Yeah.
exactly what it is. It's
But
it's on a loop, and it's what if there's anybody out there that's really struggling with that and do honestly, you can. There's so much that you can do, and
Yeah,
so much
doing the closing of
help that you
loops.
can. You don't
yeah.
need to struggle like that,
Yeah.
the
And
sleep thing, because sleep has a knock-on effect for everything, doesn't it? I mean, if you
Think
yeah.
of it, isn't it? And
yeah,
just general, yeah, just general tiredness. Or sleep
yeah,
deprivation is one of the sort of biggest torture techniques there is.
yeah, yeah, of
Yeah,
Yeah.
course,
it
Yeah.
is,
yeah.
isn't
Yeah.
it? To try and get, oh, just break sort of thing, isn't it? It's like,
Yeah,
yeah,
keep them awake for days until,
it
yeah,
affects the skin. It affects everything because everything will sort of go inside first, won't it, to try and sort of protect your internal organs. So
And
yeah,
a lot of
uh,
that goes down with shift workers, people who
yes,
are
yes, yeah,
continually
definitely,
on
yes,
shift work.
yeah,
Um, when you're working night shift, particularly, it's an absolute bugger. Because you're trying to, well, in the job that I did, trying to get to sleep, but you're aware that the phone could ring at any second, and you
yeah,
have to be up and on right
yeah.
away. And to tell you the truth, to this day, and I haven't been in veterinary nursing since 2002, to this day, if I hear a phone and I can, I hear them. My husband's like, what's the matter? I said, if somebody's phone's ringing, there's somebody in a car is having a phone conversation right now
Three
because the
mile
phone's
away.
just, the ringing is just
yeah,
woken me up,
that is.
kind of thing. It's just like, doing, and you just immediately, but this is a habit. It's not a habit, it's a program. I'm running a program underneath somewhere, and it's that with people who are night shift.
I've got a solution for that.
I was going to say, we can
Yeah.
help with that.
Yeah. Well, you see,
I
that's what I was
can,
just going to say
I can
because some
break that.
modalities are great for that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I can break that pattern.
Yeah, so can I. But unfortunately, I keep forgetting to do it, and then I only remember when I wake up and go, "What?" But
Yeah, in the middle of the night and go, can't speak to Ness or Sarah at the
also
moment.
with the menopause, if you're getting you can have a hot flash, not realize that you're having a hot flash, and be brought awake by it,
Yeah, stuck
and
to
you
the
don't.
sheets.
Yeah, well, sometimes it's just that temperature increase. Like kind of somebody's turned the gas up,
Mm.
and you go, "Ah!" Wake up, and there you are. And trying to get to sleep after that because you have to kind of really settle everything back down again.
Well,
Definitely.
that's where like hypnotherapy comes in, isn't it? To really settle the nervous system and teaches the body to feel safe again and to calm again and get that emotional steadiness.
Mm.
This is
That's
it.
that's
We
what
have
we
to
do. Create that new safety.
we have to readapt. We have
Yeah,
to put that together again and say, see those noises, those are not important noises.
yeah,
Those noises we can turn the dial down.
yeah,
Just turn the dial down. Auditory dial, the whole thing with the thoughts and the loops. Turn the dial down.
yeah.
And just because the universal mind already knows what is a good sound and what's not a good sound. But the pituitary gland by this time is having a raving, hairy, fit and dying baldy because everything seems to be just going bananas. And it's like a conductor who's lost all the sheet music. Or a more recent example would be Boris Johnson when he ended up talking about Peppa Pig because he lost all his notes. That would
Yeah,
be the pituitary gland in breakdown, you
yeah,
know?
exactly. But what the other thing when it comes to nerves and the nervous system, weird pains
Mm,
and the neurological issues. What do they call it? Oh,
neuropathy.
that's the one. Thank you very
Yeah.
much. Yeah, neuropathy.
Peripheral neuropathy.
Yes. So I had some issues with that, but then they were
Just
also,
explain that to anyone that's watching that doesn't understand that.
yeah,
Basically, peripheral neuropathy is like burning sensations or tingling sensations at the nerve ending tips, like your fingers, your hands, your
yeah,
toes, your feet, and it can go right up your legs. It can sometimes feel like you've got sciatic pain, sciatica,
yeah,
um, and you will get various aches and pains in different places because your nerves are firing for no apparent reason at the wrong time and too much.
yeah.
That sounds like the description. I just had a couple of clients with panic attacks, the exact same
Probably
description.
very similar. Yeah. So it's like stinging nettles, but hot.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a very strange feeling. But I had it in my feet, and I got started getting it in my fingers. My mum had that,
Yeah,
um, but thankfully that seems to have gone with HRT, etc.
yeah.
But then, when you stop doing things, you also it can, if you don't go along that route and you still have this pain and everything, you get frightened about moving, and then you get worried about if you're
Mm.
going to fall over, and again, that's something that you can turn things down, turn the pain down,
Yeah, and just
Yeah.
calm that nervous
etc.
system. It is all about recalibrating
Yeah.
it and letting that nervous system settle down. And then the more each time, the safer you feel,
Oh,
better
sorry,
and
guys.
more grounded that you feel as you go on.
It's
Mm.
true, because when you say about recalibration, it's also about actually inviting the body to remember that, okay, we're dealing with the resources that we have now. We may have lost some of them. They may have been filed away in the archives for a while, but we have resources, we have ways of dealing with it, and we have means to help ourselves.
Mm.
Because you can be put on HRT, but sometimes you can't go on HRT, but you can actually use natural foods like the seeds. I just discovered the seed cycle the other day. So you start off day 1 to 14 with things like flax seeds, linseeds, that kind of thing, and then for the rest of the month you go into sunflowers and sesame seeds in your diet.
Okay.
And seemingly this whole cycle kind of comes around, and these seeds as supplements to your diet, which basically should include all the things that nobody likes to eat, like kale and broccoli and
I
big
like
kind of
kale.
cavolo. I tend to, yeah, kind of. I like Brussels sprouts.
Ooh.
I have a thing about Brussels sprouts. Yes, and
I
although
have I have a thing about Brussels sprouts.
it's not the same thing, is
Not the
it? It's not
same
the same
thing.
thing. Although
You're often a
I must
my
admit,
thing.
when my mother would make Brussels sprouts, you could strain them through your teeth. They were in there.
Little cabbages. I used to say, I don't like those little cabbages, Grandma. Don't like them.
Yeah.
Little
I like
cabbages.
the idea of chopping them up and putting them with bits of bacon and stuff like that and frying
Garlic,
them.
stir fry. But even then, they've got a real bitter taste that I just don't get on with it. It just doesn't. They just
That's
don't.
Yes, it
probably the
is.
good bit. That's the
But
good bit, isn't
seeds,
it? The cruciferous side of it.
yeah,
Yes.
seeds are really good. I love seeds. I have seeds in my yogurt most days. Chia
Yeah, I've
seeds.
discovered chia seeds, flax seeds,
Yeah,
ground flax seeds.
yeah,
I'm
ground
starting to
seeds.
feel a bit like a budgie.
I just mix them in my yogurt with some
Yeah,
frozen berries. Nice.
At one point, I'm going to start tweeting and banging mirrors. And
I mean,
flying.
that's just menopause for you.
I was gonna say that's another aspect.
yeah, I'm just talking to myself. I don't really care.
Yeah, I think the thing is,
That was a pretty girl then, eh?
when
Hey,
we
who's a
talk
pretty girl?
about
Who's a pretty girl?
like leading from the last one with identity and like the brain like certainty, doesn't it? And throughout, I think the most scariest thing is the uncertainty with everything that's starting to happen. But just understanding that it's just a stage
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
knowing that it's you're gonna come out all right, and the fact that people are talking about it more, like we said, people didn't discuss it, but I think it is the uncertainty. I know for me it was an uncertainty, and
yeah.
it was scary, that uncertainty, but that's why building safety and trust and knowing it's going to be okay. It's like you almost, you need that to know it's going to be okay. Like I say to everybody now, because I feel like I'm kind of coming out the other side,
Yeah.
or just where it's settled, where I'm much more settled. And I just want to say to them all, honestly, you're gonna be all right. You're gonna be great. You're
Things are
gonna be
gonna
fine.
get better.
You're gonna be back brilliant. Do you know what I mean?
It's the conscious mind that really likes the certainty stuff. And that's when we get into the familiarity zone, and we kind of like that idea that it's what's familiar, but wasn't familiar before.
No.
It becomes familiar through being introduced to it and be understanding about it. We have to, like with the identity thing, we have to realign ourselves. We have to reintroduce ourselves to ourselves
Yeah.
because we're becoming a different person,
Yeah.
we get
Yeah.
different ways of
And stop
thinking,
fighting
doing,
it.
being.
I think that's the thing. You kind of fight it initially. And that's where the turmoil is. You're fighting this part and this part, and it's like letting go of parts of you, isn't it, almost? And I
Mm.
think once you get comfortable with it, which I totally have. I do, it is that I feel like I've made peace with the fact that yeah, I'm not that, but I'm becoming this, and
I like the idea of getting of appreciating new parts,
yeah, yeah,
of getting to know new parts. Like,
new
oh,
parts,
I
new
really
parts,
I
yeah,
never really thought about that before. Maybe
yeah,
I could go there.
yeah, and that is it. And I think once you stop fighting it, and it goes back to acceptance, doesn't it? Like accepting all the parts of us. That's where the magic
It's just
lies,
a new,
essentially.
new, arrow to your quiver, isn't it? Sort of thing.
It's a
Does that
new
make sense?
chapter, isn't it? It's a new
Chapter in your
chapter.
life, isn't
And
it?
if I think
And
of
we're
it,
lucky to
yeah,
have got here. A lot of people, some
yeah,
people haven't got
Yeah,
here. So you have to sort of
absolutely,
think of it like that. But the more we
absolutely.
know how, the more we talk and the more that is put out there, the more we'll find out about it. And, it's really shocking to know how little some people know about the change and things
yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
It really is. But we were talking about confidence then, and sometimes that obviously we've talked about confidence being knocked before, but I was reading something the other day, and it was like the confidence is there, gets knocked when you know something is going to happen, you're happier about it.
Mm.
Or if you're more certain, that's probably so. If you're certain that you're able to drive somewhere or something like that, then
Predictability, isn't it?
predictability. So yeah,
Predictability.
sort of like if you sort of think, well, I'm likely to be able to do this 100%, you're confident of that. But we're sort of saying about the anxiety, the nerve, the nervousness, the not really knowing, that sort of uncertainty,
Yeah.
and that becomes sort of like self-prophesying. Prophesy? Am I saying that right? Self-fulfilling prophecy. Let's
Philosophizing,
go with
yeah.
that.
That's the one. Well
Um,
done, Beth.
Blame it on the menopause. Yeah, when you start getting a sort of like a feedback loop, whereas it didn't go well last time, or I wasn't so sure of this, I don't really know what's happening, then your confidence starts to wane, and as it wanes and more things happen, you sort of become more stressed and less confident. So that's what I think would be really good with all of this, is the fact that it would help
Mm.
people build their confidence and know more about what might be happening to them in the menopause department.
Yeah, and connecting to that sense of self and just feeling steady within this change and just feeling,
So, I mean, it's not just this, is it? It's also a sort of time when things like, parents become elderly and need looking after. It's
yeah.
when children leave home and suddenly it's like, oh
Don't they
my God,
call us
what
the
do I do?
sandwich generation or something? Because we've still
Sandwich
got
generation.
something like, yeah, I heard a term and it was like we're like the sandwich in the middle because we've still got kids that we're sort
Yeah,
of
that's true.
looking
There's
after,
us, and then there's the elderly
and then we've
parents.
got the elderly parents, so we're like the sandwich in the middle with it all squishing us.
Mm.
Yeah, we're
I'm a
like the
Our,
breadless
filling.
our
sandwich.
identity isn't certain. It's like, oh,
Well,
I don't know
you
what I
like
am.
being, you're not a sandwich. Did you say
No, I'm
that?
a breadless sandwich because I don't have elderly parents I have to look after and I have no children.
No, I'm not quite a sandwich.
You're just the filling
I'm
then.
just the villain. I'm the interesting bit.
Yeah.
You're just jam, babes.
That's my jam. I'm jam. Yes, sticky. Anyway, yeah. I think it's also a lot of it as well is how other people speak to you. The way that people speak to you changes. There seems
Oh,
to be
right,
this kind
okay.
of,
Yeah.
yeah, you get to a certain age and you don't even have to be a certain age, but you get to a stage in life where people start treating you like you're old
We had this, but it wasn't
and
me. It was
and
Rob was
talk.
getting into a jacuzzi at the weekend, and a young chap asked him if he needed a hand. And,
Yes,
and I just thought, he's either going to get flattened or Rob's going to go, no, it's fine, I can do it myself. But I thought, oh, bless.
yeah. It's like all these people, and sometimes, I mean, something happened the other day there when we were putting the tarpaulin back over the stall at the Barras, and one of the guys decided that we needed help because these two women who were like, shouldn't be standing where they're standing on little steps and things like that to do this because, fragile. And he started to do this, and he's like 78.
Oh, right, but it was okay for him to do it because he's a
It was
chap.
okay for him to do it because he's like a man,
Okay.
and age doesn't matter for him. And I'm like, yeah, hang on a minute. If you want us up the step, stop it because you're putting me in danger here, you know? So go away. Don't do it.
I'm thankfully I haven't had that just yet. Haven't been helped across the road.
I think it's got a lot to do with the grey hair.
I wonder if
Oh,
that's
okay.
why. I wonder if that's why I feel like I go to the gym so much because the last thing I want is someone saying, "Come on, love, let's get you over
I
the
thought you were
road."
going to say someone was there to helping him in the gym then.
I wouldn't.
Would you like me?
But
Would you like me to get that pull for you? We'll pull it down so it just looks like you're doing it.
yeah, I don't mind. I was in the supermarket the other day. There was something at the back, and I couldn't do it. And I just happily, I was stood on a thing to try and reach it because I'm only 5'2", 5'3", and I was trying to reach it. And this guy, and I just went, "Oh, would you get it for me?" I'm not really bothered about being like, damsel in distress. I'm all right with that.
Oh, when it
Well,
comes to
I've
height,
never,
I
I don't
idolise
think
my
I've ever
child,
really
to be fair.
embraced
I
that
get
at
them out.
all.
Yeah, no, no, I know you wouldn't, Leslie, but she would be like, "I'll get up there myself." But no, I'm all right with that. That doesn't bother me, I don't think.
No, but I think, yeah, being helped across the road or can I carry your shopping, I think I might get a bit
Yeah,
upset.
I think if someone stood up to give me the seat somewhere, I might be like, "Oh, do I look
Well, that
like
did happen to me the other day there, and I did take it because I was feeling a little bit. I'm dog sitting at the moment, and fortunately you can't hear him because he's barking at the moment. But he's
No, we
it's
can't hear
interesting
you.
because I don't usually walk as much as I do with this dog because
Yeah.
this dog has decided that that's all I am. I'm a walking machine. So every time he feels like stretching his legs, it's time to go. And he can be quite insistent, but I also know that I need to do it
Mm,
because we need to keep our muscle strength up. We need to keep our exercise up because osteoporosis and other things that we can get before, after, during, not even because of the menopause,
No,
but can happen in any way, shape, or form.
yeah,
If
generally
we
good.
don't, I think Nick Hall tells the story of the guys who did an experiment with some retirees in America, and they decided that they were going to make them do lifting, or not make them do, but ask them if they would like to. So some of them actually did it, and they were doing really well, and their muscle tone and their ability to get up and down stairs, walk, get up and down off the chairs and things like that really got better. And these guys, I mean, the average age that they were doing was 85.
mm.
And up to that point, they'd had this sedentary kind of life, sitting, reading the newspaper, watching the telly, not doing very much, not actually trying because they thought they were done.
Mm.
Well,
I
so
mean,
it's
I'm
that
big
It
on
couldn't
quick
be
muscle
helped,
loss is called sarcopenia, and
yeah,
yeah, that it really does dramatically
strength training all the way. You have
yeah,
to have
strengthening it.
strength training. There's
yeah,
like, you just have to, if you want to, be strong when you're older, and
Yeah.
all the kind of, like the balance stuff as well.
Mhm.
That's really important. Everything I do, I mean, I'd go to the gym or do some form of yoga or the gym every single day. And
Yeah.
that is for my mind and my body and everything that goes with it. I think that's the one thing that I won't let go of and that did really help me, sort of
Yeah.
come out of the where I was at when I was probably at my lowest. Exercise for me, 100%,
Yeah.
yeah.
I would agree.
100%,
Because
100%.
I mean, it helps all
And
the
the
other
best thing is
things.
that you don't need all the equipment. All you need to
No,
do is
no,
go out for a walk.
yeah, walking.
Because actually going back into nature and going out, and even if you're in a main street or whatever, the sky is there. There are little trees somewhere around the place, and you're just getting out and you're breathing air. I'm not going to say fresh air because in Glasgow it's not really something that's available, but basically, well, not in everywhere. Basically, you're going out there and you're expanding your lungs, and if you start looking up as well, you're actually filling your lungs better as you're breathing.
Mm.
And it's
And do you
this
know what else?
curiosity as
Do you
well,
know what
getting
else
curious about things.
when we talk about like being in that loop of that that overthinking, that anxiousness, that, when you go outside, it's a bit like a state break, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like breaking that state of, if you're in the house and you're ruminating and you're going over and you're fuming about the cupboard doors being open, sometimes just putting trainers on and just go for a walk.
Well, you take a
Yeah.
big, deep breath, metaphorically and physically, don't you?
And it is that, it's that cheer, isn't it? It's what we do, but obviously
Yeah.
we do it on a deeper level. But that is basically just changing that, so you don't stay in that loop. You go, you get different, and then it changes. You're not doing that same thing. You just got your trainers on and you just go for a walk, or you just go to the gym, or whatever it is that you go do. But that is essentially how we work as well, breaking that pattern, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because we get
I
caught
think
in
that the
these
main thing
loops.
with the nervous, the neural pathways and the nervous situation that we're talking about is that big word, overwhelm.
Yeah,
We get
yeah.
overwhelmed so easily when things are really, and it's something that's happening that a lot of us have no idea about, because it's happening in such a way that only people who do science degrees and things like that and doctors know anything about. But we can educate ourselves
Yeah.
about this very easily now. And we also, as people who are NLP practitioners and hypnotherapists, we can help people to readjust, to become adaptable to their situation,
Yeah.
and to adapt
Yeah.
that situation back for them and make them realize that they're still in control
Yeah, they
to
Well,
a
are.
it's
greater
emotional
extent.
resilience, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
And
building that self-trust again and that
Yeah.
safety and that new identity and, feeling safe in that version of you.
yeah, I mean,
Mm.
how many people do we know who actually are so locked into that? We talked about occupational identities and
Mm.
masks and things.
You know what? I'm glad you've mentioned this. Did you watch The Furies? Because have you watched it? It's about Tyson Fury. He's a
Oh,
boxer.
right. Those Furies. I thought you meant the Greek Furies.
No,
I was
no.
going to say, which Furies are we
I
talking
don't go that far.
about? I'm going to
I
get
don't
that
go
again
that
now.
far back. I know you do, Leslie, but I don't.
Oh, yes, yes. Being immortal, it
So
does
they've got
happen,
like
but then again, menopause is quite long that way too.
so basically, it's watching him and the family and their everyday day-to-day life, and he's really open about his struggles, and it's all about his identity to being the Gypsy King. And when he's not fighting, when he retired, he will say his mental health goes really downhill because he's so attached. But it was really interesting that, because on one of the episodes he was saying, who am I, to his wife, like
Mm.
he's aware, who am I with that? And it was just seeing him in that place, and he's gone back and he's had another fight, because it's interesting, isn't it? A lot of fighters, obviously, but my son fights, and
Mm.
so we watch a lot of fighters and boxers, and they do struggle. They struggle because they're so attached to that identity.
Well, it takes up such a majority of their
Yeah,
life.
yeah,
It's
and we
not
all
it's
get
not just
caught up in
something that
our
they go out
identity.
and do every so often. Oh yeah, there's a fight. Let's go. Every single day from the moment they wake up, and that's early. And then there's the diet they have to look at. There's the exercise regimes they have to look at. There's the social responsibilities that they have to do, because they have to go out and publicize these things and talk to people and be on. And this is it. With menopause, with women particularly, we've lost the switch. It just is stuck it on. And that's the problem. We cannot switch off to a certain
Mm.
extent, because the only time we switch off is when we're so bloody exhausted or ill, because we do get immunosuppressed to a certain extent, where we're losing vitamins, we're losing our state of being, well-being. So we're like, it's like, you could spit peas through our immune defenses. And basically, if you,
So,
why, I don't know where that came from,
I
but
don't know
yes, it
where you're
must be the
getting this from.
cruciferous vegetables coming back in again. But it's one of those things that when we are on, we are not thinking about who we are. We're just like in that loop, and we are loopy. We are talking loops. We are loopy. Everything is loops. We are doing a loop of this, a loop of that, a loop of the other. and
We've got a lot of things going, haven't we?
yeah,
We
we're
love spinning a lot of
yeah, it's like
plates.
those twirling plate things that they used to
But
do on
yeah,
the variety shows, spinning plates everywhere, and the food's flying off them, and we
Yeah.
can't catch it.
And I think what I've realized and fully accepted now from like you were saying, spinning all those plates. When I was younger, I could spin a lot of plates, and I think
Mm,
that was the big shocker for me. That's why I wanted to close my business down when I started with menopause, because I thought I can't do this. I couldn't even think where I ordered my products from. Everything felt overwhelming. It's the
mm.
overwhelm,
I
and
was
it's
going to say
that.
we need to go
So
back to that overwhelm, don't we? Because a lot of people
yeah,
think, I'm overwhelmed, I'm
yeah.
overwhelmed. It
And
comes over you in waves, doesn't
And
it?
so
Yeah.
Yeah,
for like one of the major things that I've done is accept I can't spin as many plates, and that's okay. And so what I do is I don't say yes to too many things.
Mm,
I manage my time much better,
mm,
specifically for that reason, so that I can make
mm.
sure that I can fit my time in for the gym, because I know that it's all the knock-on effect, isn't it? And I think it's accepting I can't spin as many plates as I could when I was younger. And
yeah,
it's taken me a
Do you
while,
remember
but
when
it's
we
okay.
first got together, though, when we were in that trainee in London, and we talked about different perceptual positioning?
yeah,
And we did that exercise, all of us, where we pulled away. And we left our problem on the floor and we pulled away, pulled away, pulled away. And suddenly our problems and everything was looking so tiny. And, it was so much easier to deal with, wasn't it?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
again, that's something that if people are sort of
In
saying,
it.
that I'm
Yeah,
overwhelmed,
yeah.
I can't see the wood for the trees, I can't see this, they can actually stop and you can actually, take yourself back from it or take it away from you, which gives
mm,
you a bit more space to be able to think and
And
do.
that's exactly what you need at that point, in it? Space to like,
Yeah.
okay, does that need to be a thing, or can I actually just
But when you look at it
put
from a
that
different
plate
point of
away? Can I
view,
just
isn't it?
put
Yeah.
that plate away and put that plate away? That plate's not really that important, but like
Mm.
you say, getting that space away from it, you can kind of see it from a different perspective and go, actually, that's not as important as I thought. I'm going to put
the
that plate
word.
away. I'm going
Mm.
to get rid
That's
of
the
that
word,
plate.
perspective. You
Perspective.
Perspective, yeah,
need we need to get
perspective.
perspective. We need to, because we're so far in
Yeah,
that moment, in that nanosecond of stuckness,
yeah.
Mm.
that we forget we can actually look up, we can move ourselves back, we can step away from the situation.
Yeah, that's what I was
But
saying.
the
Yeah.
feelings, all the stuff, all the adrenaline, all the cortisol's going all around going, fight it, kill it, do something with it, but just don't go anywhere else. Just be in there. And you're like,
I think that's what probably NLP and hypno do the most best. It's creating the space.
yeah,
It's
Mm.
it's it's all space in your head. It's space. You just feel like there's more space to be able to sort of create a way of being that supports what you're going through. When you're going
yeah,
through this, you
Finding the
can't
balance,
just,
isn't it?
yeah, you
yeah,
can't just carry on like you did. That's the point that I'm sort of saying. You can't, and it's accepting that you can't. It's creating the space and then saying, okay, how can I help myself differently? How can I do this differently? And it is like lots of different things. I would say lots of different things helped me get to a place of, I mean, I thought, like I said, we've talked about it before, dementia. I thought I was done. I thought everything was done. And then yet, what, 5 years on, 6 years this year, actually, 48 I was, 6 years on, I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like a different person, but in a good way. But
well, it's
Yeah,
like,
I said to Rob the
it's
other day, it was like 5 years ago, I was, physically, much, much heavier, not as strong as I used to be. And that's the annoying thing because
yeah.
I used to be a fitness professional, used to teach aerobics and Pilates and everything else. And actually, last year I started teaching Pilates again because I'd got to that point. I'd reinvented myself,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
changed the identity from, but I'd done it in a way that worked for me, and that's what you've just been saying as well. So
And
yeah,
that's so there is hope. There is hope. And it's like I always say to people, good or bad, it doesn't last forever.
Well,
there's
the thing is that we can't, it's like Alice in Wonderland, that quote in Alice in Wonderland. I can't go back to yesterday. I was a different person then.
Yeah. Oh, this was a fun factoid that I heard from someone, and it was something like 60 billion blood cells change every few hours on a.
Yeah.
I was like, so you're not even the same person that we were when we started this podcast.
Well, good grief, no. The 7 year itch has an actual premise in that we get a whole new body
It was,
after
yeah.
a set amount of time.
Yeah, I've noticed definitely 7 year cycles with me, massively 7 year cycles. And
Yeah.
actually, that's interesting because I've just said, haven't I, that it was 6 years ago. So
Yeah.
it's probably where and it's like,
Yeah.
I can feel that I'm coming into like, yeah, I'm
A
coming out of
completion.
that.
It's the adaptability though. We cannot, if we were always going to be the same and we were never going to change, we'd still be sucking our thumbs and wearing nappies.
Yeah.
You know, we evolve. We are evolving. Yeah, it's
I can
revolting.
tell you,
But
there's a club in Leeds where they still do that, but that's not for
I'm
me.
entirely sure. I'm entirely sure there is. You know, and I discovered that Glasgow has an absolute wealth of dominatrices because everybody who is here is like telling everybody else, just do it now. You know, in that kind of wonderful, gentle tone that we
That's
have.
something I hadn't thought about. Maybe
Yeah.
that's how
You
you
begin
outlet for this.
use that rage, that menopausal rage, use it, become a dominatrix. No, that I really don't do that unless you really, really want to do it. It's
And
a
on that note,
yes. I know that note. I know that note. I think we should probably. But listen,
it's all about
it's a nervous thing. It's a natural thing.
It's all about understanding, accepting what's happening, and stop fighting yourself and
Yeah.
just settle that
And
nervous
find help.
system.
Find us.
Yeah, find
We're
us.
here.
We're
Find
here.
us. We'll talk to you.
We'll create the space.
We'll do that.
Do that.
There are loads of us about. You don't know, we're like, you're almost probably about 6 degrees of separation between an NLP hypnotherapist type person.
Yeah.
Oh, probably less than that.
Probably less than that. Yeah. By the time Ali's finished, there will be.
Yes.
But there are things that we can do. There are things that we can do that are not drug related, that are not like going out and giving yourself like apoplexy, trying to jog yourself into submission, or anything like that. There are different things, and the power of the mind, the power of language is so there for you, for us, for everyone. But when you're into menopause, you really need your words, and you need your words to work. And we work words.
You work well.
So we work words. So come and see us.
Yeah, don't go out running. 'Cause it'll
Beautifully
hire-
ended, Leslie.
Yes, it'll hire
Thank you.
cortisol. Cortisol's not good when you're in menopause. Anyway.
No.